Hey y'all, Boogie Night here, how's it going? And with January finally behind us, I'm hoping that means we're at the end of the bad movie dump. Well, at least for the first quarter of 2017. So what does that mean for me? Oh, it means that I am up to my ass in alligators on reviews for bad movies. I was gonna sit down and do my review for the Bye Bye Man tonight, but honestly, the movie I saw the other day, it pissed me off so much that the Bye Bye Man's gonna have to go bye-bye for at least another night. So in the meantime, sorry, Alan, I know I keep wanting to do this, but this movie's so much worse than the Bye Bye Man, and I never thought I would say that out loud. So we're going to talk about A Dog's Purpose. So what is A Dog's Purpose? Well, this movie clearly puts it in such a light it has nothing to do with the fact that a dog is, well, man's best friend. I had no problem with the cinematography or the shots or the scenery for this movie. I didn't even have a problem with that scene that PETA apparently raised their hackles over, which was firmly busted, but we're going to get into that later on. This had one major design flaw, and one major design flaw only. Josh freaking Gad as the voice actor for the main character, the dog. I should have known what I was getting myself into when I realized Josh Gad did the same stupid little voice of the snowman from Frozen. And Frozen is the only movie that I think I could despise along the same lines as a Medea movie. That's a different Off the Rails episode by itself. But the problem is Josh Gad did pretty much the same personality voice as he did for the stupid putzing snowman as he did for the dog. And here's my biggest problem with that, and we're going to break it down as we go, but let me tell you for a second about anthropomorphizing animals. Growing up in the 80s and 90s, one of my favorite movies ever, and I still love it to this day, is Homeward Bound. And the three main characters had dialogue between the two using human voices for Sassy, Chance, and Shadow. And it worked for them. Shadow, the wise old golden retriever pup, well, I guess I can't call him a pup, he's an older dog, worked with that very wise, almost Wilson-y from Home Improvement voice. Chance, the rough and tumble mutt from the streets, had that kind of gung-ho, running wild kind of persona, and the primping little, I don't know the breed of cat. I'm not a cat person, to say the least. For Sassy, and the three worked together. It wasn't just the dialogue. It was the way the voices were. Sassy being kind of like, oh yes, I'm a little pretty princess. Shadow, the wise old dog, like I said. Chance, it all worked together flawlessly. I love that movie even years later, and I'm in my mid-30s. Let's go back a step further. In the late 80s, early 90s, Tequila and Benetti. Tequila, a French Mastiff voiced by Brad Sanders, who is this kind of gruff, also from the streets, kind of, hey, low down, how you doing kind of pup. It really worked. Josh Gad's voice had no reason to be in this movie. He made it so stupid and over the top, and not in a good way. Now, if it changed from dog to dog, I would have been cool with that. If Josh Gad had just been as the puppy or as the first couple of lives, it would have worked. But he kept the same voice, and his one-liners were pretty much borderline on dick and fart jokes for the bulk of this flick. I am sorry, but if you're going to have a drama, Hallmark movie-ish kind of concept, like A Dog's Purpose, then you need to do it right. Now, as I've said, I love animals. I adore animals. I'm more of a dog person than a cat person or any other animal person for that matter. And I like the overall concept. I like the idea that a dog or a dog spirit can reincarnate into other dogs and kind of relive their purpose to help people out like that. I have no beef with that. Big example for that. Growing up in the 90s, we had a beautiful lab husky mix we named Tippy. She was gorgeous. She was such a great dog. She lived till I was in my early 20s and she passed on. For a couple of years after that, I honestly thought she haunted my mom and dad's house, but that's a different story by itself. Years later, when my brother got married, before he and Jennifer, my sister-in-law, had a daughter, they still do to this day, a gorgeous Australian Kelpie Black Lab Chow mix named Colby. And sometimes part of me wonders from mannerisms that Tippy and Colby kind of are cut from the same cloth. I have my reasons, just from their personalities, their engagement with people. It makes sense. And I love the idea that if you are so close to your pet, whether it's a dog or cat or a guinea pig or a fish or whatever, that they will come back to keep you company. Or if they're called to a different reason, that maybe it's that time for them to help out that person in need. I don't care about that. What I care about is Josh Gad screwing up the entire concept of this with this stupid freaking remarks. So, I mean, you've seen the trailers for this movie. It's cute. It's Hallmarky. Long story short, Bailey, this pup that was adopted by this kid, voiced by Josh Gad, does all these little tricks, dies when he's older, and gets reincarnated in these different other dogs. Police dog, dog that belongs to a person in an abusive family, another person that's bullied by another person. It all makes sense, and I'm cool with that. But here's a couple of examples for what I'm talking about. Josh Gad screwing it up. There is a scene in I'm gonna go on a limb and say the 60s, 70s, where there's a couple making out. Okay, yeah, it has nothing to do with it, but Josh Gad and I feel like scratching my butt. That doesn't relate to anything. That is like something Will Ferrell would say. And I hate Will Ferrell with the passion of 1,000 suns. It makes no sense. And just somebody says, like, you know, when he gets reincarnated, he's like, I'm a girl dog. I mean, I half expect to be like, I have no dick. You know, it makes no sense. Well, it makes sense, but it's infuriating about how there could be so much more poignant concept. You have a drama movie, you have a comedy movie. Sometimes you blend both comedy and drama. This one was like a sandpaper to the undercarriage. Pick one side or the other, but clearly this does not work. Another scene, I think this is what really just made me almost want to walk out of the movie. Bailey, Josh Gad's dog, has been reincarnated as a cop dog. Also, I'm a girl dog. What? She gets shot, and she's dying. And I've seen Turner and Hooch, I've seen Tequila and Bonetti, I've seen poignant moments like Homeward Bound. Dog, you think they're dying. Pet, you think they're injured. You think they're dying. Later on, he's just like, when he's dying, he's like, Josh Gad's character is like, oh, I don't like this kind of shot. Really, dude? I have seen animals kill the zone, whether it's on movies, TV shows, or real life, for that matter. This had no place to do with it. And there's people in this theater that are yucking it up as if A, they're trying to stave off tears, or B, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, you don't get out very much, do you? Just the commentary throughout the movie just could have been left alone. It's almost like they handed a rough idea of the script to Josh Gad and said, you know, ad-lib it. Why not? He's like, oh, it's getting cold outside. I feel it in my paws. And once again, if you could just switch it up from the voices, like just have Josh Gad do maybe the beginning and an end or a couple other ones throughout the movie. Clearly, there's a dog outside that agrees with me on this, my opinion on this film. Well done. It's just, there could have been a slew of voice actors. You could have had Marion Cotillard for maybe the female dog. You could have had, once again, you could have had Brad Sanders from the voice of Tequila from Tequila and Bonetti do it for kind of like one of the other dogs. And maybe at the end, from the beginning, bookend it with Josh Gad being the puppy that was first adopted by the kid, and at the end, when Dennis Quaid's character realizes that this is Bailey reincarnated. This movie could have been so much better than it actually was. But no, and the other thing that pissed me off about this movie is the whole time I know that the dogs are going to die. And Josh Gad's character is going to get reincarnated as another dog. So I am waiting with bated breath every few seconds thinking, is this going to happen? Is somebody going to come up with a shotgun? Is this dog going to get run over with a car? Is the bully going to beat him to death with a freaking knife or a club or something? It's not funny. I mean, you can tug at the heartstrings with that, and maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm a little more sensitive because I'm a dog person. But if you're spending the majority of this movie waiting to find out when the dog is going to die next, pacing. It works. I understand that. Dogs and pets in general, people's best friend. There to help people. I wish I had a dog now when I'm, currently going through some stuff. But I don't. But that's beside the point. What is the point is the fact this movie could have been so much better if they just tweaked a couple of things. Now, mind you, I'm extremely disappointed about the director, Lasse Hallström. He has done some fantastic movies from earlier days like Chocolat and Cider House Rules, and he poisoned his reputation with this movie. Really? I mean, I could go on about this movie, but what it comes down to is don't waste your money with it. It's not worth it. It's a comedy drama that pretty much borders on dick and fart jokes. I mean, once again, maybe I'm overanalyzing it, but if you're going to do a movie about animals and growing up thinking about Where the Red Fern Grows, Old Yeller, once again, Homeward Bound, and for the millennials who haven't seen this before, you should watch it. Homeward Bound is a fantastic movie. Even the sequel. This has nothing to do with anthropomorphizing animals. I'm cool with that, like I keep saying, but seriously, you have taken a beautiful concept about animals and pets in particular being close to the heart for everybody, particularly those that need it when they're going through tough times, and you shit on it. There are scenes, speaking of shit, there are scenes when Josh Gad's character is shitting in the backseat of a car, or eating too many hot dogs and shitting all over the place. Once again, you took a Will Ferrell or Steve Carell joke and just slopped it, no pun intended, in the middle of this heartfelt movie. Yeah, there should be comedic moments, but all within reason. You put a poop joke on it, you're pretty much bordering on Eli Roth if he's trying to get out of horror. I know I'm rambling on this, I understand that. But this movie itself was rambling. It's just dog lives, dog dies, dog lives, dog dies, dog lives, dog dies. I mean, once again, it bookends the beginning, which is great. And throughout the time frame, Josh Gad's dog, if you can call it that, retains the memories. That's cool. But as opposed to this, I got to get back to my former owner. I got to get back to this person, blah, 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 blah. It's just, there's no real plot. It's just cutscene to cutscene to cutscene to cutscene. Okay, so one final thing. I talked about the PETA incident. I'm going to go touch upon that very quickly, which is the least of my concerns. There has been some nonsense going around about a German Shepherd, the cop dog. Or not, no, it wasn't the cop dog, it was another character. See, this is how much this movie pissed me off. I forget half of it. I zoned out through part of it. Is in a river trying to rescue a child, drowns. And from what I gather, I've never seen the clip, is that this German Shepherd during the filming was pretty much forced into the water for the scene. It wasn't kind of like eased in, eased out, eased in, eased out. First of all, for the record, no. That was a busted myth. That honestly, it was a scene that is just being stuck in there to stir people's collar, not see this movie. Congratulations, PETA, you done messed it up. I can't really go into too many details about it because this movie wasn't worth it. It's not worth seeing in the theaters. God, no. Not even with alcohol. It's not worth seeing on Netflix. It's not worth renting. It's not worth Redboxing. It's not worth downloading legally or illegally. Just let it go. Lasse Hallström, I am sorry, but you lost my respect on this. It is a terrible movie that tugs at the heartstrings in the worst possible way. You put a horrible voice actor for the main character for it, who pretty much is just retaining his stupid freaking snowman character from Frozen, and a dog that could have been head and shoulders better if you tweaked the personality every time. Damn it! So, that being said, now that I've got the rage button unlocked, I'm going to call it a night. I should have another review tomorrow, and I'm hoping maybe Friday I'll have my final review from January's bad movie dump. But until then, hope you guys have a good night. I'll catch you on the guys on the flip side, alright? Peace.